Welcome back. We are back after 48,000 hours of live streaming with guests and guests and guests and guests.
Oh my gosh.
It was so much fun. It was so much fun.
It was good.
But quickly, as I was saying off air just then, I did say I'm never ever going to do another 24-hour one. But we kind of quickly decided we're going to do a 48-hour one. Don't know when, but we will.
You decided this. I did not agree. I did not sign up.
You was there. I seen you. You went, go on then.
We'll see.
So, welcome to the madness again, Dan and Louise. Thank you so much for coming back on. Absolutely appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. Thanks so much for your
anytime.
Generosity. I mean, I'm sorry I missed out on your 24-hour gig. I'm too old for that anymore anyway. So I used to go that way.
I am. But just quickly, before we go into the show, there is a part 8.1 on Saturday. So one of the guests got confused with the time for the UK and the US time. He's EST. He just seen 7 p.m., which was UK time, where it would have been 3 p.m. EST. So I'm doing a special one with him on Saturday at 8 p.m. and it's BMR Rob, Bigfoot Michigan Rob. So he's going to be coming on. He's got a few stories to tell us. Nicole is off on investigations, so it's just going to be me and Rob. So that's why I've done it 8.1 because Rob was supposed to be the last guest on Saturday night. And as I was getting ready and going out, he was messaging me, and I'm like, "Yeah, we've shut down now, mate." So,
yeah, we were 25 hours. Sorry,
we did wait half an hour for him to come on, and he didn't. So it's just how it goes sometimes.
Well, that's why I reached out to you because I'm like, I don't remember when we kind of confirmed. You're like, "Are you on this weird time?" And I'm like, "Yeah." But I just want to let's reconfirm, because I, just
yeah.
I'm that person. So that was cool. That was great. Awesome.
Yeah.
So
I always do 2-3 days before just to make sure. Not too late, not too early. So it's all good. It's all good.
Right.
So thank you again for coming on. Thank you, Nicole, for coming on. Just quickly, this one is going to be replacing our Friday show. So this one is going to be part of your next network, Paranormal Radio. It's going to go out on Saturday evening at 10 p.m. EST. So thank you to Race Hobbs and everyone else involved for letting us be part of that. That's it. So we are ready to go.
Yeah.
So I do have the first question for you. So there's a person that you know called Simon Riley who bought your book. And I speak to him quite a lot. He mentioned to me Crazy Cakes. Now, he thought I thought he was having.
Oh, crazy cake! Yeah. Oh my God, I'm making some on Saturday. I can't wait.
So, what exactly are they?
Okay, it's crazy cake because you make it in a like a cake pan, like whatever they are,
Yeah.
9 by whatever, and typically you just mix it in there. So like it's fun for kids. Like you just put flour and then the baking soda and something else in the flour. You put it all just in the pan, no oil, nothing. Just put it in the pan, and you make 3 holes, and one is oil, one's hot water, and one's vinegar, and you put cocoa in the flour stuff or chocolate, cocoa, whatever. And then you just mix it up and it bubbles and all this kind of stuff. And it makes a cake. So there's no eggs in it or any milk or anything, but it makes a really good cake. And it's just easy to do. Like it's a great cake if you don't have a lot of things on it. Like, oh, we don't have eggs or we don't have milk. And it's just a little bit of an unusual flavor, I think, because of the vinegar and everything.
Yeah.
But it's moist and it's dark. But the crazy thing, I mean, that's all good. And you can make it vanilla too if you want. But then I have like a bechamel that I do, and I double the rest because I like a nice thick thing. It's kind of an eggy bechamel, kind of like what you would put inside like a custard or something. It's a bechamel. I don't know how to say. And then I have this chocolate drizzle sauce that's kind of that real gourmet, put it on the ice cream, like, ooh, pay a lot of money for it, drizzle sauce that you could put on everything. So the 3 of them combined is amazing. But the thing is, the cake weighs like 20 tons. It's very heavy. I made it for a girlfriend for her birthday, and it over. And she's like, you weren't kidding. Like this cake, everybody's like, nah, 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 nah. And I'm like, I know it's different and it's delicious. It's a chocolate cake, but a little different. I don't know. Cause I could eat that whole thing. I could weigh 500 pounds eating that. I would be happy. Okay. So there's crazy cake. Oh, this is just for people who know or who know. At the end of my book, I wasn't going to put any energy exercises in. I kind of leave that like a treat, like you won't know that it's in there, the exercises. I wasn't going to do it. And then Spirit said I had to do it. And then I'm kind of like talking, because a part of the book I wanted to put for descendants is basically why I wrote the book, or kind of.
Yeah.
And so I'm kind of like, you know what, if this is my great-great-grandchildren or something, they got to know. They got to know that we would make crazy cake for birthdays. And this lasagna recipe, it's to die for. And so that's why I have both those recipes in there, and they're delicious. And so, yeah, I mean, cooking is sharing your heart and your hearth with other people. And as I put in the book, I said, and it's an alchemy. It's a type of alchemy. And people come around and they smell all the smells and all the kind of stuff and dance around and have a good time. And they're excited about the food. It's just kind of magical,
Yeah.
So I just kind of wanted my descendants to know this is what the kitchen would smell like. This is what we would do. This was our jam,
Yeah.
And there's other recipes too, blah, blah, blah. But those are the 2 main ones. And I'm like, whatever. So try. You'll like them.
No, it's all good. And speaking of birthdays and cake, I spoke to Tommy today from Let's Get Freaky, and he said to say hello to both of you.
Oh, hello. Happy birthday. Like today is his birthday?
Every day is his birthday.
Oh,
it's an ongoing thing. Whenever he was supposed to come on and co-host with us, he was at a birthday party, and that went on for
months.
8 months, maybe.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It was
Happy
always a birthday.
Always the birthday.
Yeah.
Well, my 2 boys are actually one's on Friday and one's on Monday. So my actual children, it's their actual birthdays, which is why. So one does not like the crazy cake. So I'm going to be making an ice cream cake for him and crazy cake. And my husband's like, oh my God, because it's a lot. And I'm like, I don't care. They have to take it home. They're going to have to take it. I'm going to keep some for myself, like especially the crazy cake. Oh my God. But yeah, so I'm going to be, Saturday, I'm going to be doing all my alchemy in the kitchen.
Ooh.
In the kitchen.
Well, cooking is like a love language of its own when you cook.
Yeah. Yeah. And my sons love to cook. My dad loved to cook, all that kind of stuff. And so I wish my dad was still around to see my sons. And actually, they're getting, and I hope they're not watching, or will be watching. My one son is getting a Dutch oven, a cast iron Dutch oven. Well, they're both going to get one now because I'm like, oh, you can't just have one. They're going to get the cast iron Dutch oven. We're really into the cooking and all that kind of stuff. I love it.
Yeah.
I think it's great. And for men to be interested in cooking and all that kind of, my one son loves to make bread and everything. They just love to chef it up, and they're so happy, and I'm happy when they're happy. And anyway, enough about that.
No, because I've got a question about that.
Oh, okay. Sure.
Connected. So we talk a lot about intent on here, like with spell casting and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
So when you're cooking, do you think then that while you're mixing all the ingredients together, if you're in a good mood and you're enjoying it and getting all mixed, do you think that makes the food taste better?
Well,
and more enjoyable?
Okay, so I do address this in my book. And I don't really go after the enjoyable part so much, but I think there could be a portion of that. I think so, because I think that also plays into subconsciously how much you are stirring something. I just learned that if you are whipping what's that? The cream cheese butter thing. Like if you whip it extra longer, it tastes better because there's more air into it. I did not know that. So I think there's just kind of that alchemy of like how grandma did it or something like that, why her cookies would taste better. But for me, what I write about in the book is like my husband's Greek Orthodox, and I became Greek Orthodox at a certain point. And in fact, my presbytera, which is the priest's wife, just was calling me right now. So it's kind of funny. Her ears must have been ringing. But anyway, so I used to make prosfero, which is the bread that they use for communion. So like I was brought up Lutheran. We used to do wafers, but they actually make a nice bread, and it's very specific. And there's a seal you put on it, and you put 33 pricks on it for 1 year of every, year of Jesus's life. But anyway, so when you're kneading the prosfero, according to the church, you're supposed to have the intention of the people that they're going to pray over. Like say there's a baptism or a baby thing or something, like a memorial during the service. You think about that family, even if you don't know, but you do the Lord's Prayer or you put a prayer into it. So it's a lot of intention that you're supposed to do going into this bread, which I thought was interesting, this form of alchemy that even the church recognizes. They're very rooted in pagan things, and they don't even realize it, And I get a kick out of it because I'm like, pagan, blah, 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 blah. But anyway, so the church recognizes that, not so much for taste or flavor, but that the intention from the person, because, thought, word, and deed, that's alchemy. And, so that's what that is all about. And that's manifestation. And I get into that a lot in the book about all those things. So thank you for bringing that up. Funny. I wrote about it. Yeah.
I know. I need to buy your book. I promise I will get it.
Yeah. Weren't you the one that was about an hour away from the bookstore? Because there's a bookstore in England that has it. I don't know if you know Miles Johnston. I'll send it to you, but it's a town in England, and so they have my book there, so you could actually go and pick it up.
I remember you telling me, but I can't remember where you said it was. Oxford. Is it Oxford?
Nope. It starts with a D or something like that. I could look it up. I could look it up while we're chatting, but then that's kind of rude because then I'd be on my phone. I'll send it to you later.
Yeah, you're going to say we'll do it later.
Yeah. Cute little bookstore. Yeah. So Miles Johnson, it's in his little town and stuff like that.
Do you know what?
His friend ordered it. Yeah. What?
It'll be a nice road trip.
Yeah, you said it was like an hour away.
Yeah.
I think you were thinking you and your dad would go or something like that. Blah 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 blah.
I don't know.
Anyway,
I'll find it. I'll find it.
You'll be the first person to purchase it.
I'll get them.
Languishing.
Be sold out. That'll be my luck.
I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think so. But that would be great. So anyway, so that's just for people who are new. Yeah, I wrote a book, and it's called, this is going to sound weird because I didn't know what else I could call it. Because, like how you talk to your friends. Well, I do. I'm like, oh God, did you, whatever. I'm like, this is going to sound weird. I preface everything with, the paranormal and supernatural things that happen to me on the daily. And then after a while with a lot of friends, it's like, we don't have to preface it anymore. We don't have to say that. And, it's just we just know our conversations are going to sound weird. So
yeah,
that's how the book is. And the book is very conversational. And I wanted it to be my voice. And everybody says, oh my God, I can totally hear you when I'm reading. And I literally write that in the book. I'm like, you're in the future because you're a reader and I'm here in the past. But I am thinking of each reader as they're reading, that I am with them, because what I want it to be is like, I'm just sitting down with a friend and I'm telling them my story, because this is very intimate for me. And people know, they know so much about me and I don't know anything about the reader. So I kind of feel it's a little unfair conversation, very one-sided. But so I feel a bit fragile or exposed, but it's like, I'm trying to see the reader as somebody that I care about, a friend, so that's why I made it a very warm language, because it's like, hey, as if we were sitting down having a cup of whatever, So that's kind of how I wrote the book. And that's why I have the recipes. And that's why I'm whatever. Anyway.
No, that's cool. I found out where that place is.
Okay,
it's
cool.
Called, I can't even say it. I can say it in my head. Devises. Devizes in Wiltshire. So yeah, Wiltshire's about an hour away.
Yeah.
An hour and a half. So
Yeah, you and I were talking about that. You were like, oh, I should go do a road trip and tell Miles. I don't know if you know Miles, but be like, hey, Miles, because he's a great guy. He does this bases. I can't remember what number it is. Bases something. Oh my God, sorry, Miles. He's got his own podcast and stuff like that. Anyway, blah blah blah. So you guys might want to meet up, have a cup.
Yeah,
have a cup. A
cup of tea.
As you guys say, a cup
of tea.
Coffee.
Cup of tea.
No,
cup of coffee.
Yeah, cup of tea and a biscuit.
Yeah, or 12. You can't just have one biscuit. You got to eat the full packet.
I know.
It doesn't work like it doesn't work like that.
Okay, rules.
Yeah. Ooh, yummy.
You gotta go have a pint.
Yeah. Have a pint. There you go. That's more up Miles' alley. Let's be fair. So I did his podcast basis project. Can't remember what the number is. Anyway, he was kind of on also that ship that was like Radio Free Europe kind of a thing, doing all that kind of stuff. Anyway, I love him. And I was on his podcast. And then a few months later, all of a sudden, the next thing you know, we're both going to the same conference. Like he came all the way across the pond and went to Florida and was at the same conference. And I'm like, oh my God, we just manifested that. That was sweet. And, anyway.
What conference was it?
It was called Full Disclosure Now conference.
Oh, we know that conference.
Yes.
Yeah, we're going to it next year.
Very good. Well, hopefully the hotel's still there.
Yeah, I was going to say, if Florida's still there, then we're going to be going.
Yeah.
Well, that's exactly where the hurricane hit and stuff like that. And those hotels are older. And I know FEMA has regulations about rebuilding and building up and all this kind of stuff. So I don't even know if the doors are open. My girlfriend who lives like 5 minutes north of there. So I stayed at her house. Her house is demolished and it's just cement and just 2x4s. And they're just trying to live in it. And I don't even know if they have electricity after all this time. So yeah, it got very much devastated. So we'll see if it's going to be there or not and everything. So.
If not, I'm just going to do 2 weeks in Gettysburg instead.
There you go.
Yeah.
And call it a day. Do some podcasts from there. That'd be cool.
Yeah. That's me plan B. That's all I've got. Plan A, Florida. Plan B, Gettysburg.
There you go.
That will be really cool to do podcasts live from Gettysburg.
Yes. Wow, that would be really cool. Do you know that they consider the trees there, they call them witnesses. Legally, they are legally protected as witnesses. And I write about that in my book too. It's like, because I believe I write a lot about trees as sentient beings. And Yeah, so they witness those battles and they have battle scars and all that kind of stuff. So even our government, isn't that interesting that they would protect them and call them a witness? So it's as if the government is saying, yeah, they are a real deal. They're a live creature. They can't walk, but they're, I think I love finding out little things like that.
Yeah.
Paranormal things.
Yes. How much trees have seen. Like trees are hundreds of years old, like what they've seen every day.
Right. Yeah. Well, I give my trees hugs here. They've seen me for 33 years, and actually they've got an illness, and I'm trying to protect them that they don't all die. These big, beautiful trees. So anyway, we won't get into that, but
no.
Anyway.
Let's go. Right. Speaking of politics and government and the energy shift over the last 24 hours.
Yes, I brought that up too because I've been bringing it, asking other people because I was doing a podcast on Monday and I just, up until today, I've been feeling this energy. And I'm like, man, are we ever going to go back to normal? And then today I'm like, holy moly, as if it was lifted because I do know, I fully believe that they were spell casting on all of us. And it just felt like just the turn of the screw. And that kind of lifted. And so a lot of times, and this is how I am with everything that's happened in my life. Like, did that happen? I question everything. Did that happen? Was that real? Are you experiencing it too? Did you see that? Because I'm like, I don't know. And so that's why I asked you, I'm like, are you feeling lighter? Because other friends are poking up on Facebook saying, I'm feeling lightness. And, it doesn't matter, who they voted for, this or that, but they're feeling a lightness of energy. So I truly feel they were putting a cast on us and it's lifted now.
Yeah. With you saying that about the lightness, it wasn't because of that, but I decided, I'm not going to go into it, but I decided to do something today. Nothing major, just a bit of a clear out on the computer and that. And I was like, in an hour as to whether to do it or not. And I thought, do you know what? Just do it. I did it. And it was like, it was a nice calm afterwards. It wasn't, shit, I shouldn't have done that. It was the complete opposite. So was it because of that? Because I hadn't thought of doing it until earlier on today.
I don't know.
Interesting.
Don't know.
I don't know.
Anyway, I did it. It's done, and I feel better for doing it.
There you go.
That's all I've got. That's all I got.
That's kind of how my day was today. I'm like, I've got all these things I need to take care of and wrap up, and I'm like, oh my god. I mean, they're just hanging on me, and they happened, and I was like, oh my god. And it not very easily, but they happened, and I can't believe they happened. So I was like, yay, yeah. So it's a good day. It's a good day.
Yeah.
It's been a weird day. Like good, but weird.
Right. Well, it's weird for me. Yeah. Well, it's weird for me because Andy knows I'm getting a colonoscopy tomorrow. So
I was never ever gonna say that phrase.
I know. Well, I'm purging. I'm very curious about what I'm going through right now because I'm like, I'm donating plasma. I'm on a dieta, which is like Bopansana dieta. I'm also on this very strict diet. I'm doing this big, huge detox. It started like on November 1st and whatever. And it just kind of was like, because I think of this heavy energy. I'm like, usually when I'm feeling like that, like what's going on? Then I just shut everything down and try to get real clean and clear for clarity purposes. But then I had to laugh because I'm like, oh, that's right. I got a colonoscopy, and I didn't even know Andy knows this because I don't care. If you know me, I don't care, and I talk about a lot of shit. Anyway, I'm like, oh crap! I don't know if I can make your show because at 4 o'clock I have to start the colonoscopy cocktail, and then then you're. So it's kind of like, hang on a minute. I got to check my, can I do this or what's happening? So everything was in alignment and I haven't even eaten yet. I haven't done all my Jello. So
I was working the time.
All right. Should we get serious? Let's get real. What do you want to dig into?
Oh, just you said about clearing out just quickly. I said about clearing.
I know it's going to be perfect timing.
Yeah. So I cleared the computer.
Yeah,
but I've also
see, you're clearing too.
But I cleared a lot of wires, cables that were plugged into specific cable ports, but I've got others, so I've unplugged and plugged them into the others, and it's clearer and cleaner, the sound quality and the visuals. But I don't know why I've not thought of doing that before, because they're because I moved the computer. It was there. Don't know if you noticed. It's now there. So I've just put it up next to the monitor, so all the wires are nearer. But I've just moved all the wires about, and it's like everything's working fine. It's good. It feels good. Better. I feel good.
It's an upgrade. And I think we're all getting a bunch of upgrades. I really, 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 really do. And I kind of was questioning if that's why we were feeling uncomfortable, because we were getting ready for a major shift, an upgrade, a level, like all of us, the continuum, So I kind of believe that's true too, because I feel like everybody's kind of going through that same shift. Normally when I feel like something's going on energetically, wise, I'm not alone, because I'll talk to somebody else and like, oh, me too. Or I'm doing that same thing. Like, how curious. And it's kind of like, so it just shows like how connected, we all are, and that kind of stuff. And I'm like, nice. It's affirming. I like it. It's affirming. We're all kind of we're all getting our shit together.
Yeah.
And isn't it funny how people who aren't even into this, they feel it without realizing? They're like, something is different today. Like, you can't tell why or what's going on, but people know.
Right. Well, we know about it. And that's the whole thing. Just to get off on this little spin. Because we have all these muggles and these normies, the regular people who aren't into the paranormal and supernatural as much as the rest of us are or something. But I was listening to a conversation the other day about how it's a karmic debt for these people who want to just stay flat and on the one side of the veil, and they're not even curious about the other side, that kind of thing, and they reject it, or they're in denial and block, on every level, subconsciously, consciously, and all that kind of, and you're weird and all this kind of stuff, and boopity boop. But I just was learning that creates a karmic debt for them. I thought maybe, it could be a protection thing, soul level stuff. But apparently one of the laws in this place, around this place, is that we are here to experience and learn. And if you're rejecting the lessons and the understanding and going up the levels, it creates a karmic debt. I was like, oh, that makes sense. So it's kind of as if, because a lot of times, a lot of people are like, you shouldn't, well, I would never push anything on, but some people like kind of push their ideologies on others and all that kind of stuff. And some people would say, well, that creates a karmic debt. But then they were speaking that it's our responsibility, as we know what we know, to, for me, as I would say, just have it there at the ready, or helping people with that information, such as what I'm doing with my book and everything like that. But it's also their responsibility if they're consistently staying in denial, calling other people crazy and all these kinds of things, because we are all called. We are all called as humans here. And if you reject the call, it becomes a karmic debt. And I thought, that kind of makes sense. And I kind of like that one. So I'm sticking to it. And I hope everybody does wake up, because that's the whole thing. The powers that be that are in charge and enslaving us. I mean, I think these people who are in denial would probably want to know that they are being enslaved. I mean, they can't even imagine that, that's crazy talk to them. And it's kind of like, no, this is what's really going on, because I think it would be upsetting to learn that. Right. And then I think all of us and your audience and stuff like that, we've all learned that. And we've been through that, long time ago. So, anywho, that's my story, sticking to it.
Yeah. Can we address what's going on in the chat right now that everybody's talking about?
What?
Everybody is having like hearing issues, like a ringing in their ear or hissing in their ear.
Right. And are you just meaning with our talk, or just in general?
Or just
in general?
In general.
Well, true. Well, and okay, so that is also part of, I don't know how many people have done any research on this. So we have the 5G towers. And what they have done, the powers that be, because well, it depends on what philosophy or part of science you come from, what you want to call a human being. We could be a water sack or a meat sack or a carbon unit or an electrical system. There's many ways of looking at it, but it legitimately, there are things in the government that you can look up, and there are like all kinds of patents and all these kinds of things stating and showing that they literally are using human beings as a Wi-Fi receptors. And so this is part of that whole buzzing and ringing in the ears. And there's a couple of places that you can go to get skull caps, this, that, and the other thing. And if you don't believe it's the Wi-Fi, get one of these skull caps, you put them on, and it goes quiet. So that also speaks to that we are being used. Because if you can imagine all of us human beings as like, and this is why 5G is so bad. And this is also why they got rid of the church bells too, because you have to understand sound waves. Oh my God. All right, here we go. Sound and how important frequency is, and it's vibrational and all those kinds of things. But sound in the United States is illegal to use as a weapon, which I think is hilarious, because if it's illegal to use as a weapon, then the opposite is true. That says sound is also healing. So that's the government, again, disclosing the truth of our philosophies, like I was saying with the trees earlier. And certain other countries do use sound as a weapon. Even 60 Minutes has had shows on that, how they were like, taking out different U.S. government employees and stuff like that by renting the apartment underneath the other people's apartments and sound projecting them and hurting them and all this kind of stuff. So anyway, yeah, we need to be mindful of how they're using this. But I think also one of the reasons why they're doing this, well, it's a lot, but it's also, I believe, they're creating a Manchurian candidate. They're creating a zombie army. And they're doing it on many, many levels. They're doing it because I believe in, somebody will say, is it this or is it that? I'm always like, it's both. Why can't it be both? We always need to look at every angle of things, such as with the last hurricane. Oh, were they spell casting or using harp or whatever? I'm like, it's all of the above, people. It's always all of the above. Yeah. So I do believe that when they are broadcasting on programming and you're in your subconscious state, is when they can put in subliminal messages on different levels. And we're not talking about it and we're not thinking about it, but it is an infiltration into our system. Because there are certain ghost shows you can watch or something like that. You do need to be very careful. Ooh, got the chills. Because some of those entities can come in through the frequency of your television, of what's being broadcast. And they might be broadcasting that very much intentionally. So I do believe that there are the powers that be that are trying to create a zombie apocalypse. And if you don't believe it's true, go get in your car and drive for a couple of minutes, because that's when people are in their subconscious mind. And I'm like, what the hell? Like, are these people non-character players or what? Because, or non-player character. Yeah, NPCs. Anyway, so I'm kind of like, they're offline, which means to say that if they want to project, and this is like all the things that have been going on with me. So we have these aurora borealis going on. Oh, okay. Well, I've been around when I used to be able to walk outside and see aurora borealis, but now we have too much light pollution, in the Twin Cities. So you can't necessarily anymore. But wasn't it curious? Nobody ever said, oh, if you use your phone, you can see it. Okay. Yes. Humans have less than 1% of the total spectrum of light, and cameras do have certain filters, but I just thought, what? This is kind of weird. So to me, because I'm weird, I'm thinking these aurora borealis that they're happening and they're going lower across the planet and all that kind of stuff. Are they just working up the projection they got the little projection thing going, which would create a false flag or psyops thing or something like that coming up in the near future, as in, oh, here's flying fake Jesus, or here's some UFO, all that kind of stuff. So I'm kind of like, oh, they're just getting the projectors ready. But so then also, if they're doing that and they are also mind controlling us, that's part of that whole slavery thing, which is why that's why I put my energy exercises in my book, because I want people to wake up and understand that they are holy humans. And if we're not sovereign with who and how we are, and know that we are part of the divine spark, because that's how I see it. We have soul and we are creators. And AI and the powers that be, they can't create. They don't have the divine spark. They're not connected in that way. That's why they have to use us and abuse us. And so I'm calling for a jailbreak, and I want people to wake up and become sovereign and use their divinity. If we knew how powerful we were, they would go away. So that's my story. I'm sticking to it.
No, I completely get that. It's because as you know, Nicole and other people in chat, I've seen these NPCs on more than one occasion, and it is the weirdest thing ever.
Yeah.
They just stood there, just not moving
until you walk up and then activate them.
That's so funny. Have you guys seen Free Guy? Have you seen Free Guy, the movie?
No.
You guys have to watch Free Guy. With what's his face? God, he's so cute. I get that. He's also who's Deadpool guy?
Oh, Ryan Reynolds. Yeah,
Ryan Reynolds. Okay, Free Guy. So I've seen Free Guy like a million times, and then all of a sudden I'm like, holy crap! I don't know why. Suddenly I woke up one day, but it really, literally is. Well, it's describing like a computer game and all this kind of stuff, but it really is a description of what's happening on planet Earth as far as non-player characters, NPC. Easier to say.
NPC every time. Yeah.
And then, but all of a sudden Ryan gets a pair of glasses, and then he wakes up. Blah, 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 blah. But it really goes into exactly what's happening, and especially with the firmament and the creators or the gods and all this kind of stuff. You got to watch. It's a fun, hilarious movie. I love Ryan Reynolds. I pretty much follow him wherever he goes because it's a lot of disclosure, but in a fun way. So it's kind of like the Matrix for millennials or Gen whatever.
So generation. Like They Live. Was it Kevin Bacon when he puts the glasses on and he can see the signs and he can see the reptilians?
Oh yeah. Sure, a little like that. Yeah,
that's Kevin Bacon, wasn't it?
I think so. Sure I don't remember.
It looked like
so long ago. Anyway. But you got to watch Free Guy. So everybody go give Free Guy. It's hilarious. Yeah. It's fun, and you can watch it with normies and muggles because they won't get it. And maybe that'll be an opportunity to help them with their karma. Like, hey, what if you woke up and put the glasses on? Because we have all these symbols, because Hollywood and entertainment is using all these symbols. They, like, I don't even want to do it, and they're doing all these, symbols to show that they're lined up with the satanic ones. And, so when you start to wake up to these symbols, then you know what side is what and what's going on, Yeah. And that's how they get famous, is because they sell their soul, actually. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, what's the story? Sticking to it.
Yeah. I'm just going to get a couple of images up from They Live. It's not Ryan Reynolds. It was...
Oh no, he wasn't. You were thinking Kevin Bacon.
Yeah, it wasn't Kevin Bacon. It's Rowdy Piper. They said.
So, Roddy McPiper, like the old wrestler guy. What was his name?
I don't know.
Roddy.
For those who are not old enough, to remember the movie. I'm just going to put these up.
Let me see.
What year did it come out?
There. Oh, 80s.
Oh, yeah.
About 86, 87.
Oh, that guy. What's that guy's name? I can't think.
Roddy Piper.
Oh, that guy. Yeah, Roddy Piper.
Yeah.
He used to be a wrestler. He was Roddy.
Did he?
Yeah, he was Rowdy Ronnie Piper.
Ah.
Yeah,
That's what Fred Flintstone and Derek put in the chat. Woo Dog, whatever he's called.
Look at the book that's behind him. It's Edgar Casey, ESP. Oh, he must be in the paranormal section of the bookstore. Funny.
Hey, so look at how many hidden in plain sight then there's going to be in that movie. That's going to be worth a rewatch, is it not?
Yeah, I just saw. I think it was the Yeah.
So they put the glasses on and they'd see people are these non-humans for what they really are, but they'd see the billboards as well where it'd say obey, listen.
Oh, right. Yeah. Well,
so where it'd say like Pepsi Cola or don't know, McDonald's and all that kind of stuff, you put the glasses on and you'd see what it really said.
I think that's what we are. We have the glasses on because we know the symbols and we can see the symbols and stuff like that. But I'm kind of like, if you're watching some award show on Hollywood and some dude or one of your, like, even Taylor Swift coming out dressed up in red like the devil with the horns and all that kind of stuff, like, because I was trying to explain this to my husband, he doesn't get it, and I'm kind of like, most Christians or people who are working in the light are not going to put on red satanic makeup and hooves and walk around and throw signs, all that kind of stuff. I'm like, that just tells you and shows you what side they're on. It's not a joke. And that's that denial part. People want to like, oh, that's just a joke. They're just pretending to do that. No, people, this is real. This is real.
Why would they pretend to do that?
Right, because I wouldn't. Right.
Basically, what we're saying is that the church is not what they're making it out to be. And I've always thought that.
Well, did we get into that the last time? Because the reptiles are in charge of Rome, that. And the reptiles, are in charge of your country too.
Not to the level that I think now, but when I was younger, I was like, never liked going to church, never enjoyed it, nothing about it, weddings, christenings and all that. And now it's like, even when I drive past one, it's, I'll go out and do an investigation in the cemetery. But the church itself, for me, and this is just my opinion for anyone who is religious, I'm not knocking it, each to their own, doesn't do anything for me, never has done. I've got Catholics in my family, Jewish, Protestant, I think Aboriginal, and a couple of other, I can't remember the religions, and none of them do anything for me, to be honest. But that's just my own, the way I am. That's it.
Well, for me, it's upsetting because people go in good faith as good people, and they're believing in this system, but they're, just being gaslit because, as you know, like, for people who didn't see me last time I was on your show, I was in the crib. I was an infant, still in my diapers when the gray aliens started to show up. And that happened for a good 10 years before other aliens and all this kind of stuff. Long story, get the book. Anyway, we won't get into it. Anyway, but I would go to church and I was like, oh my God, because I was brought up Lutheran and they say, we believe in all things visible and invisible. And I'm like, yes. And they spoke about aliens in the sky and all this kind of stuff, Ezekiel and all these kinds of things. And I'm like, yes, I'm down with it and blah, 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 blah. And then, later on, I was becoming Orthodox Christian. I've been married to my husband for probably 10 years. I didn't just want to leap into it because I'm married to him, but I'm like, man, this is like old school religion. Like, give me that old time religion. And I'm like, okay, Orthodoxy can't get any older than that because that's the beginning of the Christian church, blah, blah, blah. So I started studying it or doing the chrismation. And what the priest was saying, who is my friend, his wife just called me. I'm like, oh, Lord, there's a bunch of bologna sandwiches here. And, And I knew about the reptiles and all this kind of stuff before and blah, 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 blah. So then I'm like, oh my gosh. So I didn't get chrismated or take on being Orthodox as a typical Christian would do, but I did it in the ideology of the Christed energy, all this kind of stuff. But anyway, so so what was upsetting to me was like, look, if the reptiles are in charge of the church, why is your ceremony for a man whose first miracle was changing water into wine? I mean, if you're going to, okay, you can have that sacrament, the water and wine, but why are you saying it, calling it blood? And when Jesus said, break bread, or, he broke bread and he said, do this in remembrance of me. This is very much like the area where he lives. Breaking bread with somebody is a sacred act. He wasn't talking about I'm going to break my body. See, this is all hijacked bologna sandwich. Because if the congregation is eating what representation of a body and drinking blood, that gives the reptiles, we all know what they've been doing with the priests and little boys and girls and all that kind of stuff, but that's on the outside. They're doing way worse than that. And that's, the Pope with his red bloody shoes. You know why they wear that, because they're doing blood sacrifices and they get blood on their shoes and all this kind of stuff. And I hate to say that, but also I think, I don't know if I mentioned my last year of writing the book, I'd been writing for 3 years. And then I said, and I let my friend Linda, who's in the book, she's the one that found the or she was with me when the microchip came out of the back of my neck. Anyway, so I'm like, here's a copy of the book. What do you think? And she goes, oh, it's very vanilla. And I'm like, okay. And then like David Bowie, who was passed away, he's coming to me. He's like, if you're not afraid of your art, you're not doing it. I'm like, okay, fine. Bring on the reptiles. Let's go. Let's just whatever. Let's rip it up. So anyway, so then Spirit was showing me a bunch of things that it wanted me to put in the book. And one of them was, okay, so The Exorcist, the movie The Exorcist. It was a real boy who's still alive that it was the story is written after. And so what happened to him, he was playing with the Ouija board and he's on the East Coast. Like, I think he lived in Jersey or something like that. Anyway, I wrote about it in the book. Anyway, so they brought him to Missouri, to a monastery in Missouri. And to my knowledge now, the priest might be dead now, but they've dedicated a whole wing of that monastery to this priest who took on the demon that was in this boy. Why and how and all this kind of stuff, I'm very confused with, because I would have, how are you not exorcising that demon? And then you just set up the whole monastery. But they tried and they tried. I don't know. Anywho, so instead of a priest jumping out the window like what happened in the movie, there was actually the priest and he lived for decades and he had this demon and he could not function. Okay, so I'm watching this movie or documentary about this, and there's the priest and he's done many, many exorcisms. And he goes, many times when I do an exorcism, their eyes become green and slit. And Dana's over here going, I know exactly what you're talking about, brother. Because most normies and muggles wouldn't understand what that means, that there's a reptilian projection that's trying to come through. And that's half of what the demonic possession is. It's reptilian. And again, when I'm talking about the zombie apocalypse, this is all playing into it, all playing in. So he did say that one time, one of his people, the eyes green and slit, and this demon said to him, you can't touch us. We've been here longer than you. And I'm like, well, that sounds like a good reptilian, doesn't it? And so if this priest knows, he didn't say reptile, I know what he's talking about. So if this guy knows, well, who's the head priest? The Pope. And what is the Pope? A reptile. And even the Queen, whatever. She was a sweet little girl, but they have to take on the mantle, what I call the mantle, the reptilian mantle. So they have a reptile come in, step into them that they can shapeshift with. That's like if you were not a regular reptile running around like I'm Ralph the reptile, then you would project yourself into a human body that you can morph through. But right now we have this Manchurian candidate situation that's going on. And I'm just warning everybody, I'm watching this happen. And so, yes. And if you go to like the Pope's or the Pope's Theater or something like that in Rome, there's not one cross in there. And that's where they have this something, the sacrifice of man or all, it's just so, and it's reptilian eyes. The building looks like reptilian eyes, like snake eyes, and it looks out over Rome. Just look it up. Like there's very little Jesus about this whole thing. I think Jesus would flip the tables. He'd have a conniption fit. He'd be so PO'd if he came to see what Christianity is today, because it isn't what he intended. So I think a lot of people get upset with what I write about in my book about Christianity. What I'm trying to say is, hey, you guys, they've hijacked your religion. They're hijacking your energy. They're hijacking everything. And it's a crime, and they're hijacking it so that they can have permission to sacrifice children, drink their blood, have the loosh, all that kind of stuff, because that's really what's going on this slave planet. Anywho, I'll get off my soapbox, but that's what's going on.
Yeah.
And I think that's why Diana wanted to leave. She's like, I'm out of here, because she knew her children would have to take on the mantle one day and become the reptilian mantle. And start eating people and all that kind of. Oh, yeah. And she said it. They're not human.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
She was literal. Mm-hmm. And I think also, I think Kate's having a hard time with it too. And I also think that's why William walked away, because he doesn't want his children to become reptilian candidates.
Yeah. Yeah. Harry, he went, obviously,
Harry,
to America.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Megan.
That was his get out clause, I think.
Yep.
So
because that's what's going on. That's the real deal. And I think Megan was strong enough to help him escape all of that thing. But yeah, William, he knows what he has to do. And Kate, I think, is having a hard time with it, So, but I think she's probably got a little bit of the mantle now at this point anyway. So we'll see how that plays out. I'm not quite sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was interesting with her whole appearance for a while and all the speculation about what was going on, and then the fake photos that were coming out.
Yep.
And as far as I know, there's been nothing about the Rose in the news for the last, I don't know,
for a long time.
Months. I've not heard or seen anything.
And the King's got cancer. What's her face has got cancer and all this kind of stuff. And it's like, huh? Well, or is that a story? What's going on? Because I just really wonder about this reptilian struggle.
I couldn't believe it. It's like, oh my God, I can't believe it wasn't that. It's like, I don't believe that that's genuine. It was the first impression that I got from both, because they both seem to get it at the same time. I'm not saying they haven't, but it just doesn't ring right. It's there's something telling me it's fake.
Yeah, I think it's all fake. But I think a lot of it has to do with the whole reptilian mantle. And I think the newer regime, the younger people and stuff like that, aren't so ready and willing to do this. I think they're more aware. I think it's difficult. And they can't say the real thing, the real deal of what's going on behind the scenes. No. Just like our last election, because I told my husband, and he's like, I'm like, this is a spiritual warfare. That's why they're voting for Donald Trump. It's not about Donald Trump. Donald Trump could strip naked and run around and just be the weird ass that he is. But it's what he stands. He still would have gotten voted in. I'm like, the man, every time he opens up his mouth, oh my God. But he understands what's going on this esoteric level that we're speaking about, of who is who and all that kind of stuff. And Kamala, she's just going to row the boat and send us down the stream. And we would have been in worst situations, because my husband's like, how come it's all of Hollywood is supporting her? I'm like, because they're witches. And I'm not harshing on witches, because I love witches. I love Wicca, all that kind of stuff, but they're like the evil witch. You know what I mean? Like satanic. Yeah. They're Satanists in that form. And I'm like, these people are Satanists. And if you watch a lot of people when they get into, the industry, entertainment industry, see how they shift, how their faces and all this kind of stuff, blah, blah, blah. And they do watch like a lot of these musical people. But anyway, I'm like, there's a program and they're coming after our children because the children are precious and they're the precious commodity of this planet and the jewels of this planet and everything. And the powers that be, they're coming after them. I mean, that's what happened to me. Okay. And anyway, so it's like, we have to protect all of that. And I'm like, Kamala's just going to go row the boat down with that thing. Cause she's, that's how that would have gone. And we would have just been, hail Satan, everybody. And little by little, our rights and freedoms would have been taken away. And so I think Trump understands this. I see things in his language. I don't like the guy, but I think he gets it. And so he's standing up for it. See, now they're all going to shiver their timbers because Donald's back and Donald understands what the thing is, but the media won't cover it. You can find it on Facebook because they'll be like, oh, here's Taylor Swift doing the thing and doing the thing and doing the thing and all the symbology that they do. You know, yeah, she's demonic. I'm sorry. I love Taylor Swift. I love her music, but I can't listen to it or stand it anymore because I know what she's trying to do. And Beyonce, and I'm waiting for Oprah to fall down. She's next, and I can't wait for that one. That's going to be awesome.
Well, do you think that these people have got a choice of what's going on?
Well, to get into the industry, yes, that's the choice. Do you love money or we'll send you back to Hoboken? And, okay, I love money, and I think a lot of them, I think that's why, Ben Affleck, J-Lo, people kind of leave J-Lo because J-Lo was with Diddy and all that. J-Lo knows what the deal is. Okay. She's seen the deal and stuff like that. And I think these men, when they get a little bit closer to her, they're like, holy what? Is this what's going on? Because this is the sickness that's going on in Hollywood and behind the scenes. And so the more we can wake up and bring that down, because if you go to certain concerts, I just went to a concert with my son in April. And thank God, because they were spell casting, but thank God it wasn't satanic or, in that realm. When I go to like a country Western concert, there's none of that spell casting going on. There's none of that weaving into the music and all this kind of stuff. But when you go to a lot of concerts, you'll feel it. You'll sense it and you'll know it, even if you're a muggle. And that's why a lot of people who have attended even Taylor Swift concerts say they don't remember stuff because they're under a spell. Yeah, some of them will not remember a whole big block, like 40 minutes of something and all this kind of stuff. Start Googling and looking into that because they're spell casting and they're binding them and doing all these things. And so there's a lot of spell casting. And not so, I don't think so in England, but certainly in the United States, you'll see, sense, and know certain commercials are spell casting. You can hear it in the music and how they're displaying it. It's a spell cast. And I don't know what's in there. I mean, if I certainly wanted to get into it and break it down and look for some stuff behind it and all, but I don't have the technology to do all that. I'm sure other people can and will. But so that's what's going on. And I know that Trump is very much aware of it. And Kamala, because she had all of Hollywood with her, right? So they were supporting the satanic regime. And that's the reason why I didn't want her to win, because I'm like, not so much into Satan. Anyway, quite the opposite. So that's the real deal going on, what's going on. And that's why I think Donald was he creates chaos. And I think he was pushing the envelope of like, man, I could just do basically anything and I'm still going to get elected because the Christians understand what I'm doing. And other people who are spiritual and awake understand and know what I'm doing. I'm here and I'm doing things behind the scenes. And I'm like, yep. All right. And then today, we can feel it lifted. And so just so everybody knows too, like the weather thing and all that, that's a bunch of spell casting that's going on. And I started working with the weather 20 years ago. I was teaching kids how to do it, how to cloud bust and all this kind of stuff, how to make sure you have a good weather system when you go on vacation and all this kind of stuff. So I wrote about it in my book. So, that was a year and a half ago in my book, How to Work with the Weather. And here we come. Now it's poignant. Get the book, learn how to do it. Because now we have to do it. You know, we have to push back on all the levels and all the realms. We have to work with the elementals. We have to work with the elements. We have to work with the spell casting. We have to work with the, you know, all this kind of stuff. That's why we got to grow up. I hate to grow up, but adulting's hard. I know, but that's our karmic thing. That's why we're here, to be divine, whole humans.
Yeah.
So that's my story. Stick it to it.
Yeah, I've just put up about Taylor Swift. They were saying that a lot of people have got amnesia from the latest concert, and they can't remember. They're putting it down to
hysteria,
emotion. Psychologists say emotions and time may be behind the phenomena.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
So why don't you remember that when you're at work or at school or on holiday? Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Right.
How was that? Why didn't that happen with Elvis? You know what I mean? People were losing their minds over Elvis. You know, nobody was saying, "Oh, I lost blocks of time when I went to the Elvis concert." You know.
Yeah, the Beatles. Bowie,
right. But see, did you see that? But see, the Beatles, do you remember the baby album, the Bloody Baby album? See, and that's when they're like, okay, do you don't know about that one? The Bloody Baby album.
Anything about it.
Oh,
not a thing.
Google right now, Bloody Baby album, Beatles, Dolls, Bloody Doll album, Beatles. Yep. You'll see it. You got to see this. Everybody's got to see this one. I'm just saving you a minute here. Yeah, look at that one.
Yeah.
Pretty awful.
Oh.
Yep. There you go.
Does anyone want to see it?
Yeah, everybody wants to see it. Hercules. Let's see it.
Right.
Bring those bloody babies.
Are you ready, sickos?
Yeah, well, it's the Beatles album.
It's not the best album cover. Put it that way. There you go.
There you go. That's an album cover, people.
Yep. And that's enough of that. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, that was an album cover.
Yes. That was... Okay. That wouldn't make
so if you don't believe they're into Satan and eating kids and stuff like that, that just says, hey, look, we ate these children. We did this thing. We did the thing. We're wearing the red shoes. That's why I also don't like Milano Blahniks or whatever, the ones with the red soles. Yeah. Oh, I'm wearing the red sole shoes. Yep. I'm wearing red sole shoes. Yeah, look at me.
Yeah, I've seen some dodgy album covers, but never anything like that. Nicknames, but prefer the pedestrian crossing when they're at Abbey Road.
Yeah, but there's all that kind of hidden symbolism in that too, because supposedly, the one guy died and then they replaced him. And
Paul McCartney with
right.
Thingy Squires. Oh, Billy. Is it Billy Squires?
Yeah, I don't remember.
Someone correct me. I know I've got it wrong.
And then you could play the album backwards and it's satanic and says all these things. And that's real. People have done it, played it backwards, and it has satanic messages. I'm like, come on, people. How does that work?
Yeah. Billy Spears. Is it Billy Spears? Spears. Joanne's put Spears.
And the walrus. Cuckoo cuckoo.
Yeah.
I'm not so much into the Beatles, but whatever.
But do you do TikTok, Dana?
I have put some things on TikTok, some little short videos, because my son's girlfriend said, you should be on TikTok. But do I ever look at it or watch it? No, because I think it's like schizophrenic. It's just too much. It's like,
right. I sent this to a couple of people, including Nicole, that David Bowie is still alive.
Well, there's a lot of people that say a lot of people are still alive.
Well, they went into that as well. That a lot of these musicians who's supposedly dead are not dead.
Well, right. And they're the ones that, because they know, like even Michael Jackson and all this kind of stuff. And they show this one guy who's like supposedly still Michael Jackson. He was interviewed by, who's the guy with the suspenders or something like that. But anyway, so they say a lot of these people are
Letterman.
still alive. Yeah.
David Letterman. Yeah.
Yeah. No, not David Letterman. Older guy, really old fart. He's dead now. I think he had like a bunch of young wives and all this kind of. He had these glasses. He's like, anyway.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah. But see, I think a lot of it has to do with people who are like either they didn't want to do the reptilian agenda, or they had enough of the reptilian agenda and they want out because they don't, like even JFK Jr. and all this kind of stuff. And that whole movie, Eyes Wide Shut, like they took a lot out of that movie. They wouldn't clear them to have the whole movie. And then like the director died and all these people died and all this kind of stuff.
Wasn't that to do with Bohemian Grove as well? Eyes Wide Shut.
Yes.
It was very, but they didn't actually mention that in the movie. Yeah. It was all the stuff going on in the back. Yeah.
Yeah. Real deal stuff. It's not fake. And, I wish it wasn't true. But the thing is, they know we're aware of them now. And, we're chasing them. And we're shutting them down. And, people who do remote viewing and things like that, we're shutting them down. And we're, energetically. Okay. So let me talk to you about protection for a minute, because people are like, how to protect yourself.
Yeah.
So the best way to protect yourself has to do with your own frequency. So like, let's say your body is a radio. The frequency is what you're tuning into. And so what you need to dial into is source creator or God or energy system, however you want to look or think of it, as the divine source, if you can believe in it, or if you can't believe in it, believe in yourself or whatever. Okay. So that's your frequency. You have this radio box, and what comes out is your vibration, your vibration. So people are, good vibes. And so, people are always like, they're attacking me and all this kind of stuff. They're attacking me. I got attacked again, blah, 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 blah. But the thing is, it's like, that's victimhood, that's drama and trauma. And when you stay at that frequency, that's what you're tuned in and dialed to. What happens is then you're on that frequency, if that makes sense. And they can reach you. Okay. They can reach you because you're at that frequency and you're dialed into that. If you want to go into Christianity, or even for me, like just the concept of who this Jesus guy was, if you read a little bit about him and you imagine who and how he would have been, because we are all children of God. That's how I see it. And that's what he was trying to say. So if we are all children of God, that's the frequency he's telling us to dial into. Now, let me tell you, that dude, Jesus, if he was like right here in front of us, he wouldn't give a shit about a lot of stuff, right? No. He would have this higher level of thinking, and he wouldn't be tied in or draped into the drama and the trauma. He'd be focusing and into a frequency that's above that, above, like it's all, like about, the level of all is one, like this galactic level. If you can just imagine what he would be dialing into or something like that, that's the frequency that you have to get to. And when you're at that frequency, these assholes down here can't get to you, right? It's kind of like being in a building. You're too high level of a frequency, and those people down there in the garage, you can't hear them. They can't reach you. They can't talk to you, blah, 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 right? So that is the best way to protect yourself, because also, like I was saying earlier, we see less than 1% of the light spectrum. Okay. There's a lot of things that are probably going on all around me right now that I can't see because it's outside of my frequency, right? That's freaking science. So when you tune your body into this beautiful frequency, even if you want to say, if you don't want to go the Christian route, just think of a beautiful tree, this some beauty. Okay. If you dial in to those types of frequency, these other things can't attack you. Now, you could say, oh, I'm going to, okay, perhaps it could be a muscle, a thing for you to learn, because you just don't show up at the Olympics after saying like, I think I'm going to take a run, So this is something that if it's new to you, typically it should be innate inside of us. this power, and you just need to awaken it. So just that is one way to, if you want to do a meditation, it's trying to reach that frequency. Do it for 5 minutes in the morning before you open up your eyes and look at your stupid phone and all that kind of stuff. Just imagine this frequency and see if things don't shift. That these things, because now, the drama and the trauma, that's low level stuff, right? That's not where we want to be, right? No. We want to be radiating a beautiful frequency, because that's what the powers that be, they want us divided. They want to be able to conquer us. But if we are all tuning into this level of love and joy and harmony, you can't touch that, right? You can't beat that, right? So that is like the best way to protect yourself. You don't need, Jesus didn't run around with a bunch of crystals and spraying a bunch of Florida water, and all this kind of crap. He didn't need tools. We don't need tools. No, you don't need tools, because like Jesus is like, oh my God, I forgot to bring my tarot cards today. No. Right? I'd answer that, surely, but
sorry,
do you have any divining stones? Exactly.
Give me 5 minutes. I'll be back.
Hold that thought. Oh, yeah. Oh, I got to bless this water first. Or, keep it simple, stupid. I think we complicate things, but when we keep it simple, that's what nature is. It's very clear cut, So when, we muck it up. Men muck it up. I don't mean really, just human beings in general muck it up. We muck it up. That's what we're good at. That. Yeah. So the cleaner and more clear that we get, dial into that frequency, because then it's like, oh, you little pissant. Think about like a 3-year-old having a tantrum. Do you literally get involved with the 3-year-old's tantrum, or do you just go, looks like you're having a tantrum, right? Mm-hmm. Because your frequency and your understanding and where you come from is above that. Right? So stay out of all the 3-year-old, the toddlers. Let the toddlers be the toddlers. Whatever it is that's attacking you, build yourself up, man. Build yourself up, and then you can radiate that vibration of the frequency that you're taking in.
Yep.
If that makes any sense.
Completely get that.
Yeah. So that's the best way. Don't play their game.
No, I think sometimes I've done that without realizing.
Mm-hmm.
When you're having a bit of a crappy day and you're like, I'm fed up of this, I need to get it sorted. And then you just go into it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like everything just kind of like moves out the way for you.
Yeah.
In a weird kind of way. Yeah.
Yeah. And you tune into that frequency. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you just dial in and you decide this is how it's going to be.
Yeah.
And that's how it is.
It's this or nothing.
Right.
So, yeah.
And fake it till you make it, if that's what you got to do or whatever. Go hug a tree, because I tell you what, the energy that comes off of a tree will help you. Or putting your feet on the ground. I don't care what the temperature is. All of these things.
When you just said about hugging trees, so when I'm out and about, because, drive for a living, but when I do eventually get out the van and that, if there's a footpath that I need to go up, I will go on the grass before walking on the footpath. It just feels more real.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you're walking on the concrete and it's like, I feel like I'm flat-footed.
Mm-hmm.
That's like, as soon as you step on the grass, it's like you kind of like just melt into it. It's the best feeling ever. I'm still wearing shoes, trainers, whatever, but
still
get that feeling from it.
Connection with nature, the frequency of nature.
And I would even say, especially where you live in England, there's a lot of stone walls, that are just kind of like along the road, or those stones and rocks have wisdom. They've been here since the beginning of time. Like, even hug a stone wall. I know that seems ridiculous, or lean up against it with the intention of what you're doing. But, because we use stones in Nippy, which is sweat lodge and everything. And so we reactivate and heat those stones up so their wisdom comes out and their alchemy of their atoms and all those kinds of things. So literally just even a stone, it's like, it can be that simple, and just find something in nature, from nature, that you can connect to, and that will help your frequency.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh,
you know,
sorry.
and I think that's also why I get, because like I've been attacked a bunch. Okay. So about a month or two ago, there was a thing and they were like, booped my house. So the 3 neighbors, and we're not even on the same energy grid. Okay. Like from, NSP or energy, whatever.
Yeah.
These people are in this grill, these people are in this grill, and our house, and we have 2 circuit breakers and stuff like that. My husband came downstairs and he's like, how do you still have power in your room? So I know they pulsed me. But here's the deal. I'm radiating a frequency that they can't touch me with because this is how I'm dialed in. This is who and how I am. So my frequency protected me in this room. It scorched the other 3 houses and the rest of my house, but I was safe in that room. So I'm telling you that then you will be protected. This is how it is. It works on an energy level. It works on many, many levels. So get some.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just trying to get my chair right because my back's hurting and I can't.
Oh.
So I've given up.
Well, we got 10 minutes left.
24 hours the other day.
Yeah.
With flowers? Oh.
No, 24 hours. No,
the 24 hours. Oh.
Yeah. Flowers won't have been so bad.
Yeah, I'm like, with flowers. I'm like, yeah, you could get flowers. Flowers are awesome.
Yeah, I've got.
That's
might not share.
Oh my God. What happened? You guys have to take a pee or go to the bathroom and eat some food. You'd be like, nah, here's my sandwich.
We had like a couple of minute break every 3 hours and then 12 hours.
Like 5 minutes.
We had a 35, 40 minute break.
Oh my God, that's
and then
hilarious.
we just got on with it, and it was fun. So
you gotta pee, you turn your camera off, and you go.
Take it with you.
Just keep going.
You just keep the camera up.
The common theme, though, of the 24-hour, I have to say, was men peeing in the woods. That's when they have all the experiences.
These encounters, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been there when people have been peeing in the woods and we've had an encounter.
Oh my God, that's hilarious. And then I wonder if like anybody's like ran off and their little wiener is wiggling out there in the fresh air. Like, I mean, it's got to happen. Like, what the heck? Ah, wiggle, 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 wiggle. As they run flippity floppity. Flippity floppity.
Yeah.
The one-eyed monster. I saw a one-eyed monster. A serpent. What the hell? Maybe that's how they came up with Dune, the sandworms. Like,
could be Mongolian death worm.
Yeah, there you go. Ooh, wicked.
But
somebody has had to, and then they got all caught. Their hairs probably got caught in a zipper too, and all that kind of stuff. Like,
no, but it's like it was just every other guest that came on, they'd not heard what the previous guests were talking about, and as they're talking about their encounter, it's like, well, I just had to go and relieve myself behind a tree. And Nicole's like, you would have won at bingo if you'd have got that, if you'd have put that down.
I know, I almost won at bingo. I was so close.
Oh my God. That's funny. That's a funny thought.
Yeah.
I mean, is it because you're alone and out in the wilderness and your guard is down? I
will one day tell a story of something that happened to me. But today I'm not going there. There is 2 people that know this, and one of them's in the chat. That's all I'm saying. Ooh. I'm not talking about it now because it's just, there you go. That's a person that knows. Theirs is.
Of course,
they're giving you a wink and a nudge. Oh,
yeah. So that's it.
Oh my God, that's cute.
Eventually, I think when we do our next drunken podcast, I'll talk about it.
All right.
So you do like drunk history? You do drunk paranormal?
Well,
there's no history. It's just drunk.
No, it's just drinking.
Really paranormal too.
Oh,
I was going to say that's at a push, isn't it? But
when do you guys do this?
Just as and when. We've done
right
helium.
Now.
Damn it. God, and I'm on a detox. I can't drink. This sucks.
We did one on helium. That was good.
Mm-hmm. Oh, funny. Did you get a headache?
Yes, for about 3 days.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
That's why we haven't done helium again.
And then we did Sambuca shots. And yes,
what
I
kind
had
of
headache,
shots?
Sambuca.
Oh,
Sambuca
okay,
is
Sambuca.
disgusting.
Yeah.
I spit it out. I do not like Sambuca.
I can't even look at it now.
What's like Ouzo and the little green whatever? Like no bueno.
No,
not for me.
Never again. And then, but then we did the Halloween special where me, Tommy, and Nicole, we got 4 stories each, but only 1 out of each 4 of them was true. So I think we should incorporate that with drinking and our helium.
No helium.
For our Christmas special, because I've not thought of anything for that yet.
I'd be more down for tequila. That like if I'm gonna do a shot, tequila, not Sambuca or any of that. Oh, what that?
No
Fireball or what's that? Jägermeister. Oh my god!
I know Jaeger. Me and Jaeger are good friends.
Oh,
but Jaeger's no good for me.
Oh, yeah.
That is a full bottle.
Oh God! You think
I've had 1 shot from that?
Oh, I'm sorry. No bueno.
I can't do it.
No, so that's.
Well, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
I was at a bar once. Well, actually, some of you might know what it is. It's called the Gay 90s. It's kind of like popular, world renowned or whatever. The Gay 90s in Minneapolis. And me being who I am, I walk up to the bar, stone cold sober. I'm like, oh my God, what am I going to drink? Blah, blah, blah. And the bartender cut me off. I'm like, what? I'm like, I haven't had anything to drink. And he just wouldn't believe me, blah, 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 blah. Thank God there's like 15 different bars there. So the next bartender I walked up to a little bit more serious. And so I'm like, this is a one time. I'm like, I'll have 3 shots of tequila. So that I got that, walked away very serious. And then I'm like, because I'm like, I'm not even going to try anymore. I'm just going to shoot these down. I'm good, because I don't want to be cut off. Because my kids used to say, Mom, we never know if you're drunk or sober because you're the same either way. And I'm like, okay, thanks. Thanks, honey. And in fact, I had a bunch of guy friends. I used to hang out with this group of guys, Channel Road Gang. And they picked me up, the bunch of them picked me up, and we ran around this apartment building that had inset doors or something inset, and they'd all go, boom, boom. They'd come out like just with their fingers or whatever, and we were pretending to shoot each other. It was just stupid. But anyway, they were all high on acid, and they're like, oh, what should we do? Well, let's go get Dana. She's on our level. Because I'm like, oh my God, thank you. And I'm like, you guys dropped acid? Oh, okay. Well, all right. That was kind of funny. So, yes. But I like Drunk History. Have you ever seen that show?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
Anyway.
It's good.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Well, what else?
I want to do one on. I want to do a podcast on DMT. Actually, on DMT.
I want to, but I'm afraid. I'm afraid of what will come out.
I'm afraid of thinking about it.
Well, you're usually throwing up, getting well, or scared of everything. I mean, mushrooms is a lot easier, but still, like what if shit comes to life right in front of you? Your microphone suddenly is attacking you.
Oh, nothing new there then. Keep banging my head on it.
On Saturday, it was the camera. The camera was attacking. But it was the camera that was attacking on Saturday.
That camera.
Oh my God.
So I got sent this book. He's coming on in a couple of weeks. Adam Butler, DMT Field Guide.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And when you go into it, page 56, it is. Look at that, memorized it. Is how to make DMT.
Oh, all right. Well, good luck with that.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I'll see.
DMT is naturally in nature.
It's natural. It's in every living thing.
Yes.
Plant, leaf, tree, animal, fish, bird, anything.
Yeah. It is. Well, Like what I said, I'm on a dieta right now with Bobensana, so it doesn't have DMT in it, and ayahuasca that doesn't have DMT in it and stuff like that. So microdosing those things, it's just a heart center opening thing.
But talking about ayahuasca, there's a guy that I know. He's recently been to one of those seminars, whatever you call them, and it was in the UK.
Oh.
So that's quite
interesting. So they were doing a seminar, or they were doing a medicine ceremony?
Well,
or were they just doing it?
They call them seminars, don't they? Because they last for days. But he spent most of his time being sick out of both ends and looking at deer heads on the wall. From what
right, so told. That's a ceremony. Yeah. It doesn't last for days. I mean, you're high for about.
Well, the whole experience is
the whole thing. 4
or 5 days.
Yeah. They'll do that. All that kind of stuff. But ayahuasca, that's a real deal. That's heavy therapy stuff. Nobody's doing that for shits and giggles and to have fun. Nope. You're blasting off. You're blasting. That's nobody's getting hooked on that one. That's 30 years of psychotherapy in 3 hours. That's basically what that is, so sign me up. It's good to do, though. I do suggest, I think everybody, because I don't know. Santa is a Sami shaman, if you ever notice that. And he's running around with the Amanitas, right? And the elves, if you've ever noticed, because I'm saying this to my kids, I'm Santa, okay, so in Norwegian, the word gift means poison and marriage. Okay, gift. So if Santa's bringing gifts to all the children around the world, blah, 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 it's the Amanita mushrooms, So, Amanita mushrooms are poisonous unless you'll get really, really sick. I don't think you die. Maybe. I don't know. But you get very, very sick. So they have to be processed before you eat them if you want to trip on them. But then that brings out the niños, the little trolls, the little elves, right? When you're on this stuff. Yeah, the little trolls come out and stuff like that. So that's what all that is about. My kids were like, 1 year, they're like, what? Because I'm like, my sister had sent me little Amanita mushrooms for the Christmas tree. And I'm like, ever think about why there's mushrooms at Christmas? And little elves, what's that all about? I'm like, that's a medicine ceremony right there, people. And Santa, if we all did a little DMT, all of this drama and trauma would go away. We, literally it would be amazing. The world would be a better place if we all were required at the age. We don't have ceremonies anymore either for people coming of age. That's been taken away. And that is a problem. I think it's a very big problem to say, here you are, you're a man. Try to do this struggle. It was always like a vision quest or something like that, to be accepted into society. And everybody used to do these things, even a quinceañera is a part, it's more of a party thing, but there's an acknowledgement of it. So with each of my sons, one son, I brought them for ayahuasca ceremony. And my other son, we did mushrooms. Cause I'm like, especially for young men, and women, you need to howl at the moon. Especially when you're young and that age, you need to be able to express yourself and know that you're a part of all of this. And I think if everybody, especially in the United States, oh my God, we're such orphan children. I mean, not orphan children, but single children, kind of very spoiled because we don't have to put up with other countries, or we don't because we're so isolated, and it's you need to know that you're part of this planet. You need to integrate yourself with this planet and wake up to what's going on, so. And I think that's why Nixon and all that, he shut down all that stuff, because the pharmaceuticals, they'd make money, but people would also get well from taking LSD or mushrooms or all of these kinds of things, because psychologically it helps you navigate those things in our lives, so it's my story. I'm sticking to it.
Yeah, and you know what? We're at the 90-minute mark.
Yeah, I gotta go drink my colonoscopy cocktail.
Yes.
Have fun with that.
Oh my God.
I am definitely not jealous of any of the followings on from drinking that.
know. And I haven't eaten a thing yet because I'm like, really? Jell-O? Oh my God. Because like, it's kind of like peeing. Speaking of peeing earlier, it's kind of like, when you go to a beer thing or the bar, you drink, but the minute you break that seal, then you're peeing every 15 minutes and stuff like that.
Over. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm kind of like,
and that's it. Once you break the seal, there's no point drinking because you're not gonna feel the benefit of getting drunk because that's a easy drink.
Well, that's not the outcome of my colonoscopy cocktail.
No.
I'm gonna be worshiping the throne. Speaking of thrones, I'm going to be worshiping the throne. I'm gonna be sitting on it regally.
So anyway. On that note,
thank you, everybody. Thank you, you guys.
Thank you so much for coming on. Been absolute amazing, funny, great, learn. Intensive and educational.
Oh, thanks.
So.
Part 3 soon.
Oh, it was nice to meet you, Nicole. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, you're adorable. Yes. I love you guys. That's so nice. And your audience who I can't see, who's invisible right now.
Yes. Reptilians, that's why.
Yeah, they're invisible.
Reptilian androids with AI implants. God.
I don't think so, but there might be some just trying to figure out what you two are up to, so
not a lot.
We're definitely on the watch list.
Yeah, you're on the watch list for sure. All right. Well, thank you again for having me back, and let me know if you ever want me back again. I would be happy to be there.
Oh,
not on the DMT episode, though. Not on the DMT episode.
No.
Nope.
No.
You never know. You never know.
All right. Right. Thanks, you guys.
Gonna end this now. So this is part, as I said earlier, of our next network. This is going to be aired at 10 p.m. EST on Saturday evening.
All right.
Yeah, Explained Indian Explained. So thank you, Race, for letting us be part of the syndicate. Our next episode is on Saturday night at 8 p.m. UK time, 3 p.m. EST, where I'm going to be joined by Bigfoot Michigan Rob because he was unable to get on the 24-hour one. So Nicole's off out investigating it again, and then next week and the week after we are back Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I think
I'll be at the Ritz Theater on Saturday night.
Oh, cool!
See, I know, and there's me sat in this chair again.
Wrong country, man.
All good.
Wrong country.
I know.
Country?
I know.
Cool.
Wrong
country. In the country music world. Yep.
Yeah. Right. So I'm going to end this now. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Bye. Thank you, everyone, for listening on podcast. And we'll see you again very shortly.
Yes.
Take care.
Bye.
And don't forget to buy Dana's book. This is going to sound weird. Right. See you guys later.
All right. I'm leaving. I'm out of here.
Ta-ra. See you later.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Ciao, bello.
Goodbye.